Welcome to the Kerri Lane Show. I'm Kerri Lane. Today, Kash Patel has had enough. Wait until you hear about the task force that he created and who they're targeting. Plus, DOGE uncovers more corruption while the left continues to panic. We're going to cover it all in this video, but first up, the left can't even answer a very simple question. Watch this.
Do I want to get Elon Musk out of politics? Yeah, the world's richest man, the most influential in history, is now calling the shots.
What has he done that really bothers you?
He's arrogant, drugged up, naive.
60 years, USAID, billions of dollars. Do you think it made an impact in the world?
You know,
He is a perfect example of what happens when people are constantly fed propaganda and prioritize their emotions over facts. I mean, they've been told Elon Musk is the enemy and must be stopped at all costs. But do they think for themselves, or do they just follow the narrative? Let's take Joe Biden, for example. Over half the country believed he was unfit for office, especially after the clear signs of cognitive decline. Now, the Republicans, they made their voices heard loud and clear. I won't deny that. But despite that, no one was setting things on fire or destroying property. In fact, I would argue that having a president who appears weak and disengaged on the world stage poses a much bigger risk than Elon Musk cutting jobs. With that said, the left stayed silent for 4 years while our adversaries were making moves. And now that Trump's in office, instead of offering real solutions or ideas, the left is too focused on attacking Trump and Musk. Maybe it's because, I don't know, they don't have any ideas of their own.
Let's talk first about this session, some of your goals. Is there anything you're trying to pass? How much of it is going on offense? How much of it is going on defense, trying to stop the Republicans?
Trying to pass? No. I should probably be a better politician and tell you, yes, we've got all this amazing legislation that I can absolutely imagine Donald Trump signing into law, and I'm just not gonna lie. I think that right now it is about preserving our basics and getting back some of the norms.
It's clear as day. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they're not working on new solutions or for the American people. They're not pushing bipartisan ideas that could actually improve your life. All they care about is fighting Donald Trump, even when his ideas are popular. So you know what? I say let them keep going down this path, because come 2028, it'll be another landslide for the Republicans. Now, with that said, Trump is not their only target, right? We know Elon Musk is a concern too. They see him as a threat to their control, I think, especially after his purchase of Twitter and the restoration of free speech once again. But Trump and Musk, they're not the only ones they're coming after now. There's a new target in town. It's Senator Ted Cruz. Here's Jasmine Crockett, who some are saying might be inciting violence against him. Watch.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. You know, I think, and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But, like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him, like, at all. Like, you go clean off on him.
If Republicans were talking about punching someone hard over the head, we wouldn't hear the end of it. I mean, it's clear she wasn't elected to make the lives of her constituents better. She's in Congress to basically just fight the Republicans. If that's the case, we will never get to a place where there is less hate in the world if the objective here is to constantly fight the opposing party.
I said, Elon, if you're so convinced that you have good ideas, if you're so convinced that you are doing something efficient, why are you hiding from the American people? Come explain your ideas. You know, if you got some brilliant plan, come show it to the Congress. Why are you afraid of the Congress?
Elon isn't afraid of Congress. He's just too smart to subject himself to a hearing that is dominated by Democrats. You know, the very people whose corruption he's fighting with DOGE. And speaking of corruption, check out the latest findings from Elon and others that were presented at Trump's cabinet meeting, just when you think things can't get any more interesting.
The clear case of fraud was with the Small Business Administration, where they were handing out loans, $330 million worth of loans to people under the age of 11. I think the youngest, Kelly, was a 9-month-old who got a $100,000 loan. That's a very precocious baby we're talking about here.
Now, there was a contract that you've heard about where Stacey Abrams got $2 billion just before we took over, and it was a rush to get her the money. and that was environmental, and nobody knows what she was doing. But $2 billion. If you got 2 million, that's a lot. If you got 200,000, that's a lot. But this was $2 billion was given.
EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion.
So are you starting to notice the pattern here? That the more fraud Elon and company expose, the louder the Democrats get? But here's a couple of people on the left who can actually cut through all of that noise.
I am a little bit more optimistic about the intentions of the administration. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I don't think that Musk is trying to get richer.
No.
Like, I think
he's definitely not. I've always defended him on that. He does not care about money.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, he's got all the money. Like, I think he thinks that this actually will help America.
I've been with him at times, and he did not have a house.
Yeah,
he was like staying at a friend's house.
It doesn't matter to him.
He will sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Or sleep at the Tesla factory, as he did to get that going. I think he brags about, we work the weekends. You know, let's have pizza at 1 in the morning and keep working and then sleep here.
Yeah.
He's an engineer. That's what turns him on.
Now, those two give me hope for the Democratic Party, providing that they can get the progressives to fall in line, which good luck with that. That is a tall order. Meantime, Governor Tim Walz is trying to walk back his comments about getting pleasure in watching Tesla stocks plummet.
This guy bugs me in a way that is probably unhealthy. And I have to be careful about being a smart. I was making a joke. These people have no sense of humor. They are the most literal people. But my point was they're all mad, and I, said something I didn't, probably shouldn't have.
I cannot believe he actually just admitted that Trump gets to him in a way that isn't healthy or normal. And this was the guy the Democrats wanted in the White House to support their president? If he can't control his emotions over Trump, what would he ever do when he had to deal with world leaders like Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin? Again, Democrats run on emotions rather than facts. Now, because of the violence that we are seeing across the nation against Elon Musk and Tesla, the FBI has launched a Tesla terrorism task force. Kash Patel, writing in part, quote, "This is domestic terrorism. Those responsible will be pursued, caught, and brought to justice." Now, the FBI has already received 48 reports this month related to Tesla vehicles, dealerships, and even charging stations, with at least 7 under investigation in coordination with local law enforcement. Anyone who thinks it's a good idea to taunt this administration is about to find out the hard way, because President Trump, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi, they don't mess around. And here's the stark difference, too, between left and right reactions to controversial companies. Democrats think it's appropriate to destroy property and threaten people when they disagree. But when Republicans boycotted Target, they simply just stopped, shopping there. No vandalizing, no harassment, just economic choice. See, left-wing boycotts are often more than just choosing not to buy a product. They turn destructive.
If you want to 100% boycott Elon Musk, this is what you have to do. So if you're like me and you have a Tesla, you have to trade that in, maybe for another electric vehicle. You're getting a hit on the depreciation immediately, but you're so stubborn, you don't mind paying it. If you have the Rivian, it works on the Tesla supercharger network. But you cannot use the Tesla supercharger network because you're boycotting Elon Musk. If you decide to trade your Tesla in for a gas vehicle, you can't go to Wawa, you can't go to Sheetz, you can't go to Buc-ee's, because they all do business with Tesla. If you're going on a cruise, if you're going on a flight, you can't do business with any company that has Starlink. Say if you have Starlink, Elon Musk is affiliated with that. You have to throw away your Starlink dish. Do you have a retirement account? Do you invest in the S&P 500? You got to sell that, because Tesla as a company makes up about 2% of the S&P 500.
The left's reaction to Musk and Trump just keeps getting more and more extreme, and it's all because they're losing power. From violent rhetoric to misleading claims, they are just grasping at anything they can hold on to. Now, speaking of power, there is a controversial judge who's now under fire after temporarily blocking deportation flights for violent criminals. I'm sure you've heard about this story, but there's an interesting twist. His corruption has just been exposed, and I've got the full story. All you have to do is click on the video that you now see on your screen. As always, I want to thank you for stopping by and have a great rest of your day.